Right. So when, you know, the whole kind of like trust the plan, sometimes I feel that that's what they're referring to. And this goes back a while, and that Eisenhower set something up as a countermeasure with these
Yes.
beings and military to protect us in these times. That's kind of what I've gotten. I don't know if, would you say that?
Yes, yes. That's what Valve was for. What came for, to try to catch up. To try to work to limit the damages of the agreement with the Greys. Try to a bit round the angles and try to set up measures with Eisenhower. And um, so I'm not informed exactly of who is involved and exactly, but that what I know is that these measures are real and they have been going on since, and at the moment it's full on, and there's kind of a war underground to liberate Earth. And sometimes, you hear explosions or stuff. Thorhan, which is has been working as a pilot, rescuing people from abductions. um, I'm very connected to him, and I can feel and read his heart sometimes. He has seen some tough things.
But they, right.
Yeah, especially with children.
I can't imagine.
That's is
Yeah. Oh, we
this
need a
is
part of this because it's a greater project. And
yes,
there's many different types of higher beings. Like you got the Nordics, you have the beings from Venus. They're all part of this project, like you said, and they're
yes,
kind of doing different things or called to task to do some different things.
yes,
And some have been the ones, of course, that have been a part of the actual contact with certain leaders like Val and the Nordics. But you're saying Thorhan has seen a lot just being a part of this bigger project as far as what they've needed to do to help save the children, right? Is that
yes, absolutely. And now, since the moment I started to channel him and do this work on this book together, he's been promoted to work mainly on the orbital station. They have an orbital station that is cloaked, not to risk his life anymore, because he became useful to help me channel information, and it changed, so that things changed for him. But until then, I could read sometimes his memories, and it's super tough. um, Super tough.
and they've been in a war. Yeah, I mean, doesn't it make them very vulnerable to attack? I mean,
Yeah.
there are a lot of casualties. You know, those
Oh
that are
yeah.
involved with this project to help us. I mean, they're putting
Yes.
themselves on the line big time, huh?
Oh yeah. They die. So many die for us, and it's horrible. Yes, they put their lives at risk, and I'm sometimes a bit upset when I hear people who don't know. Oh, they do nothing for us. They don't care. Ugh. No, that's not true. They've always been caring for us. And what Val Thor told me, we will never let you down. We never had, and we never will. When people put their lives at risk for saving another species that they shouldn't care about, it's because they believe in the victory. It's because they believe it's worth it, and because they know it's going to work. So that really gives me hope and positivity. They know it's going to work. The, the future, the evolution is bright. The evolution, you can't stop evolution. You can delay it a bit, but it's the normal course of things in this universe. Evolution and shifting in higher frequency and spiritual opening and blossoming. And every species does it one day or another, and we're doing it. We are just a bit held back by these scumbags of invaders, but it's all right. They have good hope in the outcome. They're working hard.
Do you think?
And yeah,
Go ahead.
look on.
Well, I don't want to get. I mean, I can wait. Just keep with your flow.
Okay, they ask us mainly what often Toran told me to say this, to tell them, to the Terrans, tell them that they are more powerful than they have been conditioned to believe.
Hmm.
that they came with full on operational DNA, that they just need to activate it. And how they do that? By raising their frequency, well, our frequency. What is raising our frequency? Suddenly refusing fear, because fear is the tool of these invaders to enslave us, mind control, emotional control. Refuse fear. Fear is not part of your world. Center into yourself. Look at your light being and connect with the cosmos, with the source, and suddenly you will activate. Emotions, only peace, only love. And this is how you rise your vibration. And this is the future of humanity. And they ask us that a lot, to rise our vibration and be aware of our power.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is all so amazing because it's just so confirming to what I've kind of gotten from the research I've tried to do and the downloads that have come in, and it's just so, you know, in alignment. I mean, do you get any information of, I mean, when do these kind of wars stop? If there is this aggressive sort of intruder race,
Mm.
I mean, what kind of happens to them? Is that a part of this duality we need to sort of live out in order to awaken? And then once we do awaken, we're not so much in the line of fire or so vulnerable? Or is it sort of like, you know, as long as we're in a free will universe, there's always going to be a predator kind of force, maybe?
Well, we could have avoided it, but there are two things. We could have avoided it but that's how these races invade worlds. But then, when you speak with all these beings who are a bit more enlightened, I've heard things like source is the origin of everything. They call her or she. They give it a feminine gender. Some races say it's neutral. Some races, like the Pleiadians, they call her she. They call her Imana, the Great Mother. Um, she contains the positive and the negative. Even if it is she, because she is a matrix of all life and all consciousness, um, she creates everything. Everything is created from her. And the negative, the destructive, and the constructive forces are created as equal. And it is the balance, it is the fight, the dynamics, sorry, not the fight, the dynamics to try to balance the both. That the both are going to kind of fight to just get above each other. The bodies want to be stronger, the light workers want to eradicate the bodies, and then this dynamics holds the structure of the multiverse together. Because if there was only a neutral force, it will be death, no life. That creates life, that
Right.
creates evolution, that creates triggering and evolution of consciousness for all races.
Right. Totally. That balance and the integration of polarity. And but then there's the AI. Is there anything like what's up with that? The mimicking sort of archonic, you know, AI
Mm.
kind of stuff, and how that relates, you know, to the mother, or anything about the Sophia
No,
energy you hear about? Or
no, all what is AI and synthetic life forms are part of the tools and the way of the dynamic of the negative, the destructive uh, force.
so the AI
Uh,
is the destructive force, and it's a part of that balancing act, because it looks
yes,
like it's artificial to mimic maybe a lower vibration within us that we can grow beyond when we start to interface with it and we begin to overcome it. Would you say that that's kind of how it works?
yes. It's part of the trigger, the tools. You know, triggers are here to push you, to kick you, to make an extra effort to evolve. If there wasn't any trigger, we would be all lazy. You know, so that's why it's there. And but you know, these gray and reptilian race, they don't understand really. They don't understand it really, and so that's why the people like the Pleiadians, they it's not that they're fighting them, but they contain them in the right balance, and they try to limit the damages they do to other people. That's what they do. And here we don't often understand how the Galactic Federation is not just killing them all. And first, you need to ask the right way, and then they try not to kill life. They try what they do when they clean these underground bases and they find sometimes greys or reptilians. They take them off world and they send them back out of the solar system. They try not to kill them because that's what they try to do most as possible,
Right.
not to kill. And they give them chance because always this free will. And they always have the free will, these bodies, to go to the light. Oh my God, Torhan told me some stories of, he saw a reptilian Sikar, that's their name, turning out to the light. He was taken on a ship, and I don't know how, he met somebody who had compassion for him, and he felt the love of this person, the compassion, and he never tasted it, because they speak of energy like taste sometimes, or smell. It's funny. um, and that opened something, and it just broke down in emotion, this reptilian guy, and he asked shelter to the Federation, and he changed. He passed to the light, and Toran saw that, and he sent me the visions of his memories, and it was super emotional, frightening to see a reptilian, but they're very, very ugly, very frightening. But seeing that, it was like, oh, wow. And yeah, they have this plan, these reptilians. They send, because they produce a lot of clones from greys, because it's very easy, small greys. They're Solipsirae species of small greys. And they use them, they send them to a planet, and they say they play a trick. It's always the same trick. It's, oh, we are dying race, we need genetic material because we're a dying race, and could we do some abductions, please, to oh yes, no, yeah, but we give technology in exchange. Okay, then.
And who? But didn't they? People say that that's how they presented themselves to Eisenhower. Did he?
Yes.
And he
Yes.
heard that from them, but he
Yes.
didn't sign anything. It was
No.
MK12 who
No.
did.
Oh, he didn't want. No, he didn't want to.
So he heard them say that, and he didn't sign the treaty.
No.
And then they did it behind his back, and then have been blaming him ever since. I know I just said that
I
earlier.
know. I know. He didn't say. Oh
I've been
no,
trying to. I've been like,
he
this is what I'm
didn't.
getting, folks, and it's just like,
No, he
it's always
didn't.
on him. It's always on him. And I've been
He
trying to
was.
answer to people for the
It's
last decade.
it's the Majestic 12 who signed with them,
The
the
great.
Greys.
And it was going on before this administration, from what I heard.
Yes, yes, yes. And when Eisenhower learned about that, he was angry and he was like furious, and he wanted. Valthor said he tried to have access to some documents and he couldn't. They wouldn't let him access some documents, probably these agreements, I don't know, with Greys. And
Yeah.
and he couldn't access them. And oh, he told me about the CIA, that the CIA was bad, was as well involved with that.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep. And I heard, yeah, I heard some things too. I mean, you're getting the real deal information, but that they were higher units in the 3-letter organizations that were a part of it too, and that he tried to invade Area 51.
yes, yes, yes. He went there, but it didn't work because of the CIA, and I don't know the details. But yeah, he couldn't. At the end, he didn't get the documents, and it was when he finished his presidency. He was apparently a bit bitter and
He was
scared.
devastated. Yeah, yeah. He had about 8 heart attacks too. I mean that,
Oh.
and just all the misinformation, all the rewriting of history. Because I have people, and I don't know what your thoughts are if you know anything about this, saying that he committed this horrific genocide of the Germans during the Second World War. So what do you know about that? That you're shaking your head, so it's not true, right?
No, no, no. He was a good man. You know what Valthor said about your great-grandfather, that he was a remarkable man. That's a word I heard, remarkable. And he was his friend. To be friend with the Nordics and the Federation, you're a good person. And he told me about his anger, and as well about his love. He insisted a lot about Eisenhower's love for children, and he was worried about the children on Earth, and maybe he knew that the children were taken. Maybe.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
what I really feel for him about, and why I really feel like, you know, part of my mission is coming into this family to help bring about truth and disclosure and definitely, you know, ascension and human potential and what our DNA is really made of, is to like clear him from this, because, you know, somebody who cares so much about the children, who is always being blamed
Yes.
for the one signing the deals and that he sold us out. I mean, I feel him constantly since I was a kid, just not that he was like saying something's not right here, but almost like preparing me for getting to the bottom of this. And it's always been so strong. Go ahead with that thought. And then has Val connected with him on the other side? Because I heard that they're a part of a, okay, so what were you going to say though, after I said what I said, and then we could go in that direction?
He kept contact with him, and he met him twice after uh, he finished his presidential time.
But after he
Well,
transitioned, like in the here and
transition.
now, are they still, is the spirit of Eisenhower still working with Val?
Oh, he didn't tell me.
Anyway, that's,
I suppose. I suppose because they were friends and they kept contact. So I wouldn't be surprised. I can get this information. Yeah, I will ask. I
well,
will
I'd
ask.
love to, I mean, I'll probably message you privately about, you know, some of this. I probably won't bring it up, but about maybe a message I can, or just a way to get more connected into this. Cause, yeah, that's a whole other thing, but not have any, I have no expectations, but just to kind of go back, go ahead. What are you going to say?
I feel no because I'm a shaman and I see stuff. This is there is something very clear to me when I see when I speak to you, is that you came and I shiver saying that you incarnate to put things back on in the right way with these agreements, and you are very powerful and your mission is super important. You came to bring the truth back and really tell what happened, and set back the what your great grandfather couldn't do. You will do it.
Oh
That's
man.
what I Yeah, that's what I feel. But that's my perception, that's my intuition, that's my, you know, and that it's very strong to me. You came to finish what he couldn't do.
I've always known that since I was a kid. I'm like, what am I doing here? And it was like instantly, it just came through and came through and came through. You know,
Yes.
just that time that we all kind of, you know, ask those kind of questions, as you know. But yeah, so we're kind of going back into the Area 51 thing,
Yeah.
the MJ-12, and the documents that he wanted to get his hands on. And it just blows my mind that they've been saying that he was the one that signed the deal. And you're one of the first people to ever really, really validate what my intuition has been telling me that I haven't really been able to, you know, fully, you know, validate. But I was saying something and you were about to say something in response, and then we kind of shifted gears, but I don't know if you remember what that might have been. Anything kind of coming through based on what we've been talking about so far that you haven't been able to put into words just yet?
uh Not at the second. It may come back in the conversation.
So we're
uh,
unwinding from all this stuff, and I mean, this has been obviously everybody's talking about 2020 being just insane, as we know. 2 weeks ago, you have visitation with Val, and didn't you say that Thor, um, that a bunch of them were getting all excited about something big about
yes,
to come
yes.
in and around like a 2 week ago kind of thing? That was when this other excitement was coming through, that they were really excited about what was happening? Or was that when you broke the 20-year spell of not talking for a while with
Well, there was
Thor?
both. Yeah, when in 2018, when they abducted me again, they were very happy to see me again, and it was like very happy to see each other. But as well, I could feel this excitement when they said, "We are coming back because something great is going to happen for the Earth, and we are back for it." It was like, yeah, you know. It wasn't said like, oh, that's gonna be, we're coming because it's like we're back because, they were very enthusiastic.
And that
They,
was 2018.
yeah, 2018.
That's
Yes.
after they
And
had all this stuff
yeah,
already written in the script of their New World Order. So, well, it's been
and he
around
said
for a
to
long
me,
time. Go ahead.
yeah, and he said to me, I would advise to you now to enjoy life. Go out, go out, see people, go out and enjoy life. Because in 2 years' time, exactly in 2 years' time, difficult times will come when you will not be able to do this for a while. The lockdowns.
Yes. But then 2 weeks ago, you're meeting with Val. So,
Yeah.
okay. So, right. They gave you kind of a heads up. So finish with that. And then the significance of this encounter with Val just being 2 weeks ago. So they
Yes.
were preparing you in 2018, basically. Have fun. It's gonna be temporarily taken away, right?
Yes. Temporary. Yes. So they let me know is that by February 2021, end of February, all these lockdowns will be over, and we will know where we are going as a species. The winter solstice, nothing extraordinary magical happens on the winter solstice except this conjunction, this alignment of Jupiter and Saturn, but it's not just gravitational forces. But as it is the Earth that shifts, and now that's the druid starts to speak, the planet is shifting. So it works with the planet's seasons and rhythms and cycles. And the winter solstice is one of the cycles. What is it? It is the darkest points in the night, the darkest points of the year, when the nights are the longest. And after the 4 days of the solstice, because it starts on the 21st and it ends on the 25th in the morning, when we say the sun stops in the sky, because it just doesn't move very, when it rises still at the same point nearly. But after the 25th, the sun is going to rise earlier and earlier and earlier. And then it's the rebirth of light. That's why the Christians have put rebirth of the birth of Jesus, the King of Light. It's a rebirth of light for the whole planet. So that's a natural cycle. And then comes springs, and it's following all these things. In autumn, it's been just the confusion and going into the dark. It follows the cycles of the earth. So in spring 2021, we should know where we are going, and it should be all right. It's a window. We are at the fork between two timelines. So we are here, we are at this point, and we will take, they say we'll take the good timeline. We are on the way to take the good timeline, but as we go in the future in time, we will go away from the negative future timeline.
And that's the
So
bifurcation.
yes, but at the start we're very close to it, so it still interferes, and
I
less
had
and
a
less and
vision
less.
yesterday that as it splits, there's still a bridge where there's still
Yes,
communication and connection
yes,
until it's like, it's not over
yes.
till it's over. But even though there's a split, there's still the lines of communication. Like I kept seeing these bridges between the timelines for a while. Do you
They
think?
show me the same thing. And as well, they told me that it's a shift of paradigm. And the ancient paradigm, every time we change paradigm, and we can see that in our own lives, the ancient paradigms fights back, tries to fight, and so that's why you have all these obstacles suddenly, and that tells you that you are changing. And what he said to me is that yes, we need to believe and hope and trust, because if we are in 29th of October, they told me there's going to be 40 days of confusion for humanity, and that's should be finished today, I think. I don't, anyway. Weird. What I was saying, yes, it's like a dying beast, this ancient paradigm, and it knows it's going to die, so it's going to push all its agendas, all it has in its gut at the last moment, faster as it can. It's just going to give everything it has to try to fulfill its agendas before dying. That's why it's so scary at the moment. That's why we know, I'm not going to name stuff, but we have all these. Um, I'm going to do the, you know, um, as well in
Yeah, I mean,
February.
that's major because that could
That's
change our DNA.
not, yeah.
So
So what he told me, Torhan told me about that. He said since February last year, February 2020, he said it wasn't talking about lockdown or anything. It was just about to start. He said to me one day, he said to me, connect. He said, do not let anybody insert, no, do not let anyone insert into your body anything without your consent, and even not. And then he became more explicit, and he told me that these were carrying, it calls it the tracker dust, a tracker dust. So I understand it's nano trackers that will fix to your nervous system. It will alter your DNA. You will be remotely controlled. It can even control your behavior because it's linked with satellites. As well. And they are on Earth in certain bases, underground bases, centers where they have mind control device, I don't know, stuff as well. So nothing, because that's all part of the agenda. They want to enslave humanity by altering the DNA, that we do not activate our DNA and evolve in higher frequency. They want to keep us as slaves.
do you think some of the grays and some of what's happened in the galactic history that's created sort of the grays or the modified, humans, or how the tall whites might be, Palladians that were modified into becoming like a gray species? Do you think it's because of things like these?
They've done that a lot. They've done that a lot.
Is that what we end up turning into? Is
Yeah,
these?
yeah, yeah. They want
That's
to
what I
turn
thought.
us into like zombies, like slaves,
And
you
that
know.
eventually would mean that our physical body turns into like a EBE, maybe?
Yeah, because all these hybridation programs, every in the underground facilities that they freed, I've seen pictures in Thoran's head of what they took off out, and there was lots of hybrids and hybrids between humans and greys,
Yeah, what we
and they look all weird and different, and that's what they want to create, this race. That's the abductions are mental. That's going so much. And
they're,
not
they're
all.
trying to create they're trying to create grays, but then they hybridize with the grays in order to combine the genetics. Or I mean, aren't there different types of breeding programs? Some of them are more benevolent, like there's the Essassani, which seems to be more benevolent, but then there's the whole other kind of thing, which is further enslavement. Or what can you tell us about the different types of breeding programs?
Oh, yeah. So there are two big groups of abductions, the benevolent and the malevolent. Let's talk about the malevolent, because we need it's for three purposes, mainly that I've been explained. Food. So for the reptilians, because the reptilians eat us, especially children. Adrenochrome as well is a big thing as well that they harvest. It makes them stronger and increase their ability to shapeshift as well. So food, then slaves as workforce. That's the workforce that descend on other planets for mining as well, to join to fight whatever workforce. So food, workforce, and genetic material. That's the three. The genetic material, it's in alliance with the MyLab. It's done as well by the military underground. They help a lot, and not all abductions are performed in ship. Very few. A lot are performed in underground bases. Even if it is the ETs that abduct, the military used to facilitate um, rooms for that. Well, That's the bad. The good ones, because there are good abductions. So when we are abducted, we are traumatized because it's traumatic experience, but sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we think it's bad, but it's good. And that, because I've experienced it, this gray being that I hugged, who called me my child, that's part of it. So that's another thing. They pick, so it's another organization, which is the Council of Five. It's very spiritual and old organization. It's like the Federation. They work together. They abduct, they pick bloodlines who have certain blood and a potential for psychic abilities and quick DNA progress. They are going to insert their extraterrestrial DNA in these bloodlines by abducting people generation to generation to activate these families, people, to speed up the evolution of human race, because we need
Like all
we
the
need to speed up.
unconsciousness and like the fluoride, the GMOs, and
Yeah.
all the things, all the assaults, right?
Oh yeah. They try on every front. So these good beings, they abduct people to speed up the evolution of our race, that we are stronger, quicker, and more evolved quicker. They activate our DNA and they put their DNA in us as well.
Are they both like different types of grays? Because so you've
They're
got,
not all greys.
they're
Yeah.
not all grays, right? There's a lot of
No.
different breeding programs, but there is a benevolent one with the grays, right?
Yes.
Or the
Yes.
exoplanets.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's
I,
it.
I
And
was reading about that one,
yeah.
yeah.
So I'm from an ancient bloodline of shaman women and people with certain abilities. So I understand better. I know my grandmother was abducted as well. She told me the story. And so that's why this being I hugged, I was calling me my child.
So are you saying
Because
that that was, okay, when, okay, explain what he meant.
he put a little bit of his DNA in me, because that I I didn't have the time to just tell everything, but I had another abduction when I was a toddler. See, it's in my book. And I was abducted from my my bed by this great tall gray being, which is he's an Egaroth, and he took me on his ship to check me out and see if I was okay. He put a long device on my skin and on my chest, and it radiated a glowing red light, and it was very warming. It's like if he activated something in me, in my heart chakra, and he was checking me and touching me. Everything was all right, and he was full of love and very nice. This I remembered under hypnosis. And so this was an example of these abductions, which are part of a program to help our species to evolve faster. Then as well, with all the star seeds and the envoys, um, souls who came from higher density to incarnate in Earth, Terran avatars, as they call it, bodies. They need to prepare the body because the shock would be very rough, and both will feel discomfort and even sickness. So they pick these enhanced bloodlines to rise the vibration and activate the DNA of this bloodline, that the bodies are able to receive these souls, and it's compatible. So that's what I've been told as well. So anyone who knows they are envoys, as they call it, they have had their bloodlines prepared. That's what I
So
have
does
been
that
told.
relate to the whole RH negative and positive thing? Is there a major significance to that?
Oh yes, there's something in the blood as well. Yes. So if I can remember, the O blood has been brought by the Anunnaki who arrived so long ago, and they wanted to create a slave race, a hybrid race with primitives, primitive population. So they put their The Anunnaki are a reptilian race. They look like humans. Anunnakini means human-like, but they are reptilian grades. So they are all blood, and but in order to put their blood, to mix their blood, it wasn't compatible. Reptilian blood isn't compatible with humans, but the greys, so many greys are. So that's different. In the greys, there are different strands. There are gray, reptilian greys, non-insectoid greys. There are different things. So they create a protein that we call D positive. That's to make the O compatible with humans, and that's quite complicated. So they will abduct for different purposes regarding to the blood. If it is for hybridization, they will pick the right blood. Hybridization with greys or hybridization with reptilians, different things. You have the protein or not. It's complicated. If it's for food or slavery, they don't care. They take everyone.
Oh, gotcha. So so there's the ET part of it, but what do you hear about when it comes down to like the characters like Lucifer or some of these pantheons and these different archetypal energies of the Divine Mother, the Christ energy, or like, what are you kind of picking up on as far as, these greater stories that relate to how the earth became the earth and